Hi everyone, this is some exam information for current developments in accounting thought. Okay, so what I've got here at the start is the cover page for the examination. No reference materials are permitted. You don't need a calculator and you can't use a dictionary, can't retain the question paper. There are 3 hours to do the paper. Okay, so it's 180 minutes. You can write during the reading time and you'll get 2 12-page answer booklets. Okay, now there are 7 questions in the paper and you need to only answer 5. Okay, 7 questions, answer 5. Value is 60%. Oh, and all questions are of equal value. Okay, so what I suggest you do is to actually look at all the questions at the end of each topic and get practice attempting those questions. I think you should try and write them in longhand and quickly and legibly. And this requires a lot of practice. I know when my daughter was doing the high school certificate, they actually suggested to tape a rubber to her pen to actually increase her muscles in her hands so that she could write fast and clearly. I don't know that you have to go to that extent, but really practice your writing. It needs to be legible. If we can't read it, then we can't give you marks. Make sure that you think about the interpretation of the question, planning out how you would answer the question. And when you're thinking about the answer, try to include some of the words that are in the question in the answer, because that will help you focus your answer on what the question is asking and stops you from going off topic. Make sure you have a look at the sample exam. Remember, the sample exam format is the same format as this final exam. There's no point in actually rote learning the answer to the questions in the sample exam because they won't be the same as the questions in the final exam. Now, I've listed out the key topics that are being covered in the exam. Theory construction, normative theories, accounting regulation, politics, international accounting, critical perspectives, management accounting, and environmental accounting. That's 7 topics, and remember, you only have to answer 5 of them. And it's important to realize that although these are the key topics, you may have something from other topics creeping in. For example, there might be something from theory construction into normative theories. So think about how the main topic relates to some of the other topics in the subject. And remember, each of these questions could have sub-questions, and you'll see the marks allocated to each sub-question, and make sure that you allocate your time based on the marks allocated for each question. Okay, only answer 5 questions. Remember this, don't try and do all of them. Focus on the 5. Focus on giving good answers to the 5 questions. So you've got 36 minutes to answer each question, so make sure that you allocate your time effectively. Now, what I suggest you do at the start in your reading time is to work out which question that you feel confident about answering and answer that one first. And that will build your confidence in answering the rest of them. So I'd look at the questions, work out which 5 I was going to do, and then choose which one I'd do first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And the 5th one would be the one you'd be least confident in answering. This way you'll make sure that you've got confidence for as many of the questions as you can. Now you need to plan out your essays. Use the blank pages of the answer book to put down the key points that you're going to discuss in your answer and the conclusion that you're trying to reach. I found when marking your assignments, you weren't that good on coming to conclusions. So I suggest you really focus on what the question is asking and what the conclusion is, and put that down on that blank page, just a short note about what the conclusion would be. So as you progress through the question, you may recall some additional points that you can add to your plan. But just keep thinking about how you can write a good plan. And I've said that the first question should be the one that you're most confident with. Make sure that you've read and reread the question so that you understand what the question requires. So many times I've seen answers that might start on the right track but then go completely off track. And as I said, use the words of the question to keep you on track. These questions should be in essay format, so you need to think about introduction, body and conclusion. Great way to set out your answer, but not entirely essential. Make sure that you get down the main points and have a conclusion. Not so concerned about the introduction and the body, but I am concerned about the body. It needs to have the main points that you're trying to get across and the conclusion that draws those main points together. When you're writing a question, it's useful to think about some definitions as the starting point. So identify what the key terms are in the question and define them, and that will help you write a really good question. And you can think about what those key terms are and their definitions and relate them to the conclusion that you're trying to come to grips with. All right, well, I wish you good luck. We will be having a revision session before the exam, so make sure you attend that. And as I said, work through the sample exam and the topic questions. The answers to the topic questions are in student resources, but try and work through those questions, writing out the answer as if it was exam conditions to help you develop your understanding about how much you know about those particular topics. All right, good luck again.